What is the dumbest question someone legitimately asked you? What nationality are you? Canadian? No. I mean, what nationality? Do you mean heritage? Polish, I guess. No. Listen, nationality. I don't know what you're asking. Whispers. Nationality. Like, are you white, black, etc.? Just look at me. I'm white as snow. And that's not nation. Cool, I didn't want to assume anything. Oh, you're Asian? I thought you were Chinese. I am Lao. So are you Chinese or Japanese? Do you see in panoramic view? I'm Chinese. Is cherry vanilla Coke made with cherries and vanilla mixed together, or is it made with vanilla cherries? Vanilla cherries? Boss, could you print out that file, scan it, and email it to me? I could just email it to you, boss. When I moved back to Florida from Scotland, a girl I was hitting on at a bar asked me how long a drive that was. My friend once asked, what if they made a sea world but instead it centered around the land? I responded with, so basically, a zoo? Not me, but overheard someone asking a restaurant server, your coupon says it's valid 7 days a week, does this include weekends? Not anything super mind-boggling, but I worked as a server at an infamous Italian restaurant during college. Here's my interaction with a guest one evening. Girl, I'd like to order the spaghetti with marinara sauce, but can I get fettuccine noodles instead? Me, sure thing. Girl, oh, and I'd like to please substitute the marinara with Alfredo sauce and please add chicken. Me, I would have to charge you for the chicken Alfredo. Then, note there was a few dollars in price difference between the two dishes, Alfredo being more expensive. Girl, but I ordered the spaghetti with marinara. I legitimately had to argue with this person for a few moments as to why I couldn't magically substitute out the entire entree for a different one with no price difference. Guest ended up being super crabby for the remainder of the time, and I'm fairly certain didn't tip at all. On a ski lift, at what elevation do deer turn into elk? They evolve at LVL 37, but will turn to moose instead if they are holding a maple leaf stone. If penguins need water to survive, doesn't that mean they're fish? If humans need water to live, doesn't that make them fish? Better version. Having a conversation about traveling. Me, I've always wanted to road trip up to Alaska and see the northern lights. Her, looking at me like I'm a moron. Oh yeah? How are you going to drive to Alaska? Me, in my car. Her, you can't drive there. And then I realized she thought Alaska was an island. I had to explain to her that although Alaska and Hawaii were always in little boxes next to the mainland of USA maps, that doesn't mean they're both islands. 10 years later I married her. Is that an uppercase space bar? So Trump is our president, right? Does that mean he's in charge of our state or the whole world? Sorry, but I've never understood this whole president thing. This was asked to me by a fellow high school senior in civics class. Was asked to a friend of mine who worked in a bookshop. Excuse me, do these stairs go up? When PT Cruisers first came out, the very first one my mother saw was a black one. She actually thought it was a hearse for children or midgets. I'm not making this up. One of my good friends builds computers. He sold me the components of his old desktop and he brought it over to my house so he could transfer them to a new case for me and then build his new computer. It was taking a while and my mom was agitated that he was there so long and asked, is what you're doing even legal? I used to be a high school college prep teacher. One semester, I had quite a number of students who said they wanted to become surgeons. So one day I showed the class a neat video of a surgeon slicing open a grape with a scalpel and then stitching it back up with this new, technologically advanced pair of robotic arm things. The video was met with menus and when it was over a hand shot up. I'll never forget her question. What was wrong with the grape? I used to work at a bakery. A customer once asked me, when the bread isn't warm anymore, that means it's not fresh anymore, so I can't have it for free, right? No. My cousin bought a map from a nearby fancy store for tourists. After perusing it for no less than 2 hours, she asked me, how does this north-south stuff work? The side I'm facing is north, right? And if I turn right, north also turns right. No? She was 20. What's the biggest planet on Earth? If you had a heart transplant, would your memories go away? My stepmom once asked if islands float around in the ocean. My brother burst out laughing, and I just looked flatly at my dad and said, you married this woman. We still give her grief about it. What's Obama's last name? You should have said Obama and made them think his name was Obama. You think my name is Turk Turkleton? Does Halloween ever fall on Friday the 13th? Took my buddy a few seconds combined with our WTF stares to realize what he had just asked. It does if you're dyslexic. My own sister asked me how we were related to my grandparents. Going through the border, from Canada into the US. Border guard, what's your citizenship? Me, hands over passport, which notes my birthplace as Vancouver, British Columbia, Canadian. Border guard, no, what's your citizenship? Me, louder, I'm Canadian. Border guard, yelling, what's your citizenship? Me, I don't know what you're asking me. Border guard, where were you born? Was it Columbia? Me, British Columbia is a province in Canada. Border guard, waves me through. A friend of my daughter's when they were 15 or 16 was staying at our home one weekend, as she did most weekends. She was crying. My daughter was laughing and told her to ask me. She was scared that she may be pregnant because she had had unprotected sex with another girl. I had to explain to her that that wasn't how it worked. She thought that because she had an orgasm, that meant she was pregnant. Wasn't that building destroyed on 9/11? She was pointing to the Prudential Center in Boston. Isn't it a shame unicorns went extinct? This person was an adult and thought unicorns exist during medieval times. I was weighing a patient, and she asked me if it measured in Celsius. I used to work at Disney World, and a question I would get on the daily is, what time is the 3 o'clock parade? When I was in America in 2012, a man asked me, completely seriously, if we had cell phones in Norway. Do you actually believe in dinosaurs? My wife at the time saw the headline "Buffalo Buried in 5 feet of snow." I don't remember the exact measurement. She asked why don't they just dig the poor guy out? There was a picture of the city under the headline. Had a customer ask if she could pay her bill over the phone. I asked what kind of credit card. Cash. She wanted to pay cash over the phone. Watching a documentary on dinosaurs in class once. Girl sitting at table in front of me turns around as the documentary is playing. Hey! They didn't have cameras around when there were dinosaurs. Right? I just turned to my friend and we both started laughing. Good times. I miss geology. I had an American ask me if California was a state. Why do you care if I know your Reddit handle if it's anonymous? How long did it take you to drive from Australia to America? I've been asked this twice. I wish I could say I had a witty response, but my brain froze as it tried to compute the stupidity of the question. ETA, no offense to Americans, just these two particular idiots. I've lived in the US most of my life. My eyes are two different colors, and the question I'm most often asked about them is, did you know your eyes are two different colors? I'm amused when someone asks me whether I see different colors out of each eye, or, even better, whether I see in 3D. American, do you have airplanes in South America? Me, no, I got here swinging on vines that hang from our trees. I wear a headscarf, and someone once asked me if I had ears. You got two options here. What? Or, of course, but I need the scarf to hold them in place. When did dragons go extinct? A girl asked me if honey came from bears. I'll never forget it. Used to be a radio DJ and had a feature called the 80s at 8. Someone called and asked what time it started. After handing me a 50-cent coupon and me explaining the final cost was $2.50. Well, damn, how much was it before the coupon? Are you gay? No. Why? I don't know, Jerry, just not feeling it today. One day one of my students said, I have to work today. To which I replied, so do I. He looked at me and asked, honestly, oh really? Where do you work? Here. I work here. Right where I am standing. I don't do this as a service to your parents. A co-worker at the library was asked for aerial photos of the Colosseum in Rome before it was in ruins. While walking on a trail to the peak of a snow-covered mountain in Alaska in early summer. Is that real snow? Didn't even know how to answer that one. Are you Korean? No. Why? Because you're skinny, and all Koreans are skinny. Well, I'm Filipino, but Filipinos are usually more chubby, aren't they? At a zoo, my friend asked me if some rocks in the rhino exhibit were rhino eggs. My last manager didn't know gasoline came from oil. Why do meteors always land in craters? If I punched you, would your brother feel your pain? Said one idiot to me, a twin. I was a freshman in college sitting in biology class and had a girl raise her hand and ask, "This might be dumb, but what do trees do?" The teacher had to ask her if she was being serious, which she said yes, and the look on his face was priceless. You could tell he was thinking, how the fuck are you even in college? I was asked if I was a legitimate Satanist because I read Stephen King novels. Not a Lavan Satanist, but the bona fide devil-worshipping sort that believes in a tangible demon. Do foreign exchange students go home to do homework? Yes, someone really asked that. I never asked it, but when I was younger I wondered how the leaves made their way back onto trees after they fell during the autumn before. I thought they migrated like birds back onto the branches.